Respected guests, ladies and gentlemen, may I request you to please stand as Honorable Governor of West Bengal and Patron of the Asiatic Society, Sri Jagdeep Dhankarji, has just entered the hall along with the First Lady. We extend a cordial welcome to both of them on this auspicious occasion of 238th Annual General Meeting and Award Giving Ceremony of the Asiatic Society, Kolkata. Thank you. To begin this auspicious occasion, may I invite the team of the Asiatic Society to render the invocation.
উদ্ভাসিত মহাগগন মাঝে
বিশ্ব জগৎ মণিভূষণ বেষ্টিত তরুণে
আনন্দ লোকে মঙ্গলালোকে সত্য সুন্দর গ্রহ তারক চন্দ্র তপন ব্যাকুল দ্রুত বেগে
করিছে পান করিছে স্নান অক্ষয় কিরণে
আনন্দ লোকে মঙ্গলালোকে বিরাজ সত্য সুন্দর ধরণী পর ঝরে নির্ঝর মোহন মধু শোভা
ফুল পল্লব গীত গন্ধ সুন্দর বরণে
আনন্দ লোকে মঙ্গলালোকে বিরাজ সত্য সুন্দর জগতে তব কি মহোৎসব বন্দন করে বিশ্ব
শ্রী সম্পদ ভূমাস্পদ নির্ভয় স্মরণে
আনন্দ লোকে মঙ্গলালোকে বিরাজ সত্য সুন্দর
Thank you. May I now request Professor Shopon Kumar Pramanik, President of the Asiatic Society, to felicitate the Honorable Governor of West Bengal and Patron of the Asiatic Society, Sri Jagdeep Dhankarji. Sir, may I also request you to felicitate the respected First Lady, Srimati Sudesh Dhankarji. I would like to request Dr. Shotrobrata Chakraborty, General Secretary of the Asiatic Society, to present two indoor plants to the Honorable Governor and the respected First Lady. I would also like to request Dr. Sujit Kumar Das, Treasurer of the Asiatic Society, to present a few publications and some mementos of the Asiatic Society to the Honorable Governor and the respected First Lady. Thank you. Now I would like to invite Dr. Satyabrat Chakraborty, General Secretary of the Asiatic Society, to deliver the welcome address.
Good afternoon to everybody. Respected President, Professor Swapan Kumar Pramanik, His Excellency, the Honorable Governor of West Bengal and the Patron of the Asiatic Society, Sri Jagdeep Dhankar, the Honorable First Lady, Srimati Sudesh Dhankar, my colleague Dr. Sujit Kumar Das, Treasurer of the Society, Honorable Justice Chittatosh Mukherjee, and all the distinguished awardees, dignitaries, members of the Council, past and present, members of the Asiatic Society, and the staff members of the Society, guests, and friends of the media. I feel extremely privileged to extend you all a very, very hearty welcome on behalf of the Council of the Asiatic Society on this happy occasion of 238th Annual General Meeting and Award-giving ceremony of this premier institution of national importance of the country. I feel equally exalted to share with you that the month of May is very significant for all of us for reasons more than one. Besides the birthdays chronologically of Ram Mohan Roy, Karl Marx, Florence Nightingale, Ronald Ross, Rabindranath Tagore, Bertrand Russell, Kazi Nazrul Islam, Pritilata Vadedar, and Satyajit Ray, among others, we are also in the midst of ritual observances of Eid al-Fitr, Akshaya Tritiya, and Buddha Purnima. We are no less thrilled even now to remember the great mutiny of 1857, which began in May 10 and 11. Honorable dignitaries and friends, let me reiterate on this precious occasion that the rich academic tradition that we have inherited as a historical lineage to our rich sources of human knowledge and Oriental heritage is being carried on with the right earnest and in every conceivable sense of the term. Notwithstanding the serious constraints and impediments caused by the negative effects of all-pervasive COVID-19, the situation could, however, be faced with utmost difficulties in order to continue with our major academic commitments in various ways, in virtual, hybrid, and physical mode in different phases. The details have been recorded, documented, disseminated accordingly in our monthly bulletin, annual report, as well as through our publications, exhibitions, and various media networks. Looking forward to the constant encouragement, cooperation, and advice from all concerned in our future endeavors also. Thank you all for being with us in this important annual event. Thank you. Namaskar.
Thank you, sir. May I now invite Professor Swapan Kumar Pramanik, President of the Asiatic Society, to deliver the presidential address.
Your Excellency, the Governor of the State of West Bengal, Honorable Dhankar Sahab, Madam Dhankar, the First Lady of the State, my General Secretary of the Asiatic Society, Dr. Satyabrat Chakraborty, Treasurer, Dr. Sujit Kumar Das, Honorable awardees, recipients of plaques and medals, of the Asiatic Society for the previous year and also the year before last. My dear council members, other honorable members of the Asiatic Society, friends from the media, ladies and gentlemen, I am supposed to give presidential address on this occasion. The topic which I have selected for this is with the kids, which has been given to you in the bulletin. In the bulletin it has been printed. The topic for my address is Orientalism, Indigenous Knowledge and Asiatic Society. I tried to cover the last 2 or 3 decades of the 18th century when Asiatic Society was being formed and when also the colonial state was being formed. I tried to catch that area with respect to the Asiatic Society. Friends, it is rather a longish lecture, and the time allotted for me and for this meeting will not allow me to read out. I just give you a very short summary of my presentation. As it has been said, I tried to establish the linkage between Orientalism, indigenous knowledge, and their role in the development of Asiatic society. The phrase Orientalism, as you all know, came into prominence in 1978 when Edward Said published his famous book entitled Orientalism. But long before that, it was in vogue in the sense that people were connecting Orientalism with the Asiatic society. I have started my presentation with a quotation from Suniti Kumar Chatterjee, who was the president of the Asiatic Society for 3 terms in 1953, 1954 and 1970. I quote from what Professor Suniti Kumar Chatterjee has said on the point. Among those rare spirits in Europe during the second half of the 18th century, who, nurtured as they were in the humanism of ancient Greece and Rome, felt irresistibly drawn towards the culture and religion, language and literature of the East, was Sir William Jones. William Jones opened up for civilized Europe a new chapter in the science of man, that of Orientalism, unquote. So we take the cue from this statement of appreciation, the use of the word Orientalism, which was stated in 1946, much before the stimulating publication entitled Orientalism by Edward Said. Though Said's work deals much with the scholarship of the Arab world and the Middle East, his arguments can be applied to other regions of what has been defined as the Orient, quote unquote. Said's work on Orientalism may be taken as a point of departure from 2 types of situation, one pertaining to the place of Asia in the historical construction of the Europeans' image of Asia. The other, more critical literature, called our attention to the politics and ideology of the Orientalist projects, emphasizing their relations with colonial expansion. Friends, I have stated that my address is concerned with three areas. One is the theoretical inputs connected with the term Orientalism, how it has been explained, analyzed, and has been accepted as a tool for research of the Oriental, quote-unquote, society. That is the first aspect of my presentation. In the second area, I have tried to cover British Orientalism in late 18th century, the dialectics of knowledge and government. Whereas in the third section of my presentation, I have dealt with the role of the indigenous scholars, the Pandits, quote unquote, in the development of this Oriental knowledge, and all during that last quarter of the 18th century and the first few decades of the 19th century. As far as the British Orientalism in late 18th century is concerned, what I have stated, in order to examine the theoretical postulates of Orientalism and the diversity of its forms, we attempt to analyze the articulation of Orientalist knowledge with a colonial government in the making. We have to remember that the last quarter of the 18th century, the colonial government was not fully colonial in orientation. It was at this time that the Asiatic Society was born with a declared objective of knowing the diverse forms of knowledge, whatever is performed by man and produced by nature. An excellent summarization of its objectives by William Jones. It was also this period when the colonial government was in the making. An analysis of the early history of East India companies would show that the men who directed and served them hardly knew what imperialism was. So that is the second part, which I'm not going into the details, and I have shown how William Jones and a lot of other Oriental scholars contributed to the development of the knowledge in this area. The production of Orientalist knowledge for governmental purpose was a project on judicial plan, quote unquote, commissioned by Hastings in 1775. These were the two treatises on Hindu law. The first was an English translation by Halhed under the title A Code of Gentoo Laws, 1776. The second was proposed to Cornwallis in 1778 by William Jones and published in English translation by Colebrook, 1796-98. After Jones' death, with the title A Digest of Hindu Law on Contracts and Succession. There was an implicit objective in promoting these religious texts as the source of law enforceable in courts. This was to find the source of law in books on religious treatises rather than on local customs which were at variance with or in conflict with each other. But during this period, the British rulers considered it as their phenomenal achievement in a pictorial representation in the lithograph that adorns the map of Hindustan name of the work of James Rennell, the then Surveyor General, who was a friend of Hastings. It was shown that Britannia, bestowing on deeply beholding Hindus a document-level Shastra. So we can emphatically say that by 1794, when William Jones died, the system of justice that Hastings had decreed and that Jones consolidated was institutionalized in the Asiatic Society from which it was beamed to Europe. The controversy here lies in the fact that there are some scholars who have argued that the world of scholarship and the world of administration during this period were worlds apart. What we have discussed in the above sections would not justify this statement. There is the opposite view that all Oriental studies in the 18th century had a political slant. Elaborating this point of view further, S.N. Mukherjee in his book Sir William Jones argued thus, quote, "The early Orientalists were not an isolated group. They were involved in the political conflicts of the time, and their theories about Indian history and culture were influenced by their respective political and intellectual convictions." So among these works of scholastic nature which Jones undertook, we can surely mention the fables of the Hitopadesha and Kalidasa's lyrical description of the seasons and his play Abhigyana Shakuntalam, which unlike the Manusmriti had no direct application to government. That is my contention, that these scholars were not only serving the imperial government, but they were engaged in the pursuit of knowledge as such, knowledge for the sake of knowledge, which had no immediate connection with the continuation of the imperial government. One can also mention here that Jones's study of Indian music or the game of chess, while translating Kalidasa's Abhigyana Shakuntalam, Jones equated Kalidasa with the Indian Shakespeare. So that is the second part of my presentation, and the details are there in the write-up which has been given to you. And the third part of the presentation is the relationship between Orientalist knowledge and indigenous scholarship. By indigenous scholarship, we mean the scholarship which was available from within the soil. An analysis of the value of the Western Orientalist scholarship would remain incomplete without an analysis of the value of the role of Pandits. Sir William Jones made an assessment of this, and he had a sort of dual attitude. On the one hand, he was dependent upon the Pandits for the interpretation of law. On the other hand, he tried to develop an independent role in developing the Oriental scholarship on his own. So this argument has been discussed in detail in the paper which is already with you. I conclude this with a last paragraph of my presentation. This theme that all these studies were dominated by colonial interest and were directed towards establishing colonial hegemony was also influenced by the fact that most of these scholars were in the civil service. But we must also note that these scholars were rarely extended patronage by the administration. Each scholar pursued the subject of his interest independently of the government with whatever time and energy their official work left them at the end of the day. So that is my presentation. I thank you all for giving me a patient hearing. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. Ladies and gentlemen, it is now our pleasure to invite the Honorable Governor of West Bengal and Patron of the Asiatic Society, Jagdeep Dhankarji, to present the awards to our distinguished awardees. The General Secretary of the Asiatic Society will read out the names of the awardees.
Honorary Fellow Justice Chittatosh Mukherjee, former Chief Justice of the High Court at Calcutta and Bombay High Court, has been elected as Honorary Fellow of the Asiatic Society for the year 2021. Next is Prashanta Roy and Geeta Roy Memorial Gold Medal for 21. Sir, next is Prashanta Roy and Geeta Roy Memorial Gold Medal for 21. Sir, just next to Justice Chittatosh Mukherjee sitting Srimati Uma Siddhanto, eminent Indian sculptor, and she is getting Prashanta Roy and Geeta Roy Memorial Gold Medal for 21 for creative contribution in Lalit Kala. Sir, I will now call one by one as soon as the sir comes on the dais. Next awardee, Dr. Bimalacharan Law Gold Medal for 2021, Professor Chinmoy Guho, Professor and former Head of the Department of English at the University of Calcutta and former Vice Chancellor of Rabindra Bharat University, for his important contributions to literature. Next awardee is Professor Shantipada Ganchaudhary, Durga Prasad Khaitan Memorial Gold Medal for 2021. Eminent scientist, Professor Ganchaudhary in the field of renewable energy for his notable contributions to science. Professor Hemchandra Rai Chaudhuri Bhatt Centenary Gold Medal for 2021, awardee Professor Ratnavali Chatterjee, eminent art and gender historian, for her creative contribution in the academic field. Professor Nirmal Nath Chatterjee Medal for 2021, awardee MS Payal De, Senior Research Fellow at the Department of Geology, University of Calcutta, for her significant contribution to knowledge of economic geology. Professor Sukumar Sen Memorial Gold Medal for 2020, awardee is Professor Samiran Chandra Chakraborty, former Director of Center for Vedic Studies at Rabindra Bharati University, for his significant contribution in the academic field. Barclay Memorial Medal for 2020, award is Professor Parthaprati Majumdar, National Science Chair and Distinguished Professor and Founding Director, National Institute of Biomedical Genomics, Kollani, for his significant contribution to the development of biological science. R.P. Chandu Centenary Medal for 2020, Dr. Annapurna Chattopadhyay, former Reader and Head of the Department of History, Raja Narendralal Khan Women's College, and guest teacher of Vidyasagar University, West Medinipur, and veteran archaeology researcher for her significant contribution in archaeology. Sharatlal Vishwas Memorial Medal for 2020. Award is Srimati Madhuparna Pal, Senior Research Fellow at the Department of Geology, University of Calcutta, for her best published work in mineralogy and petrology. There are other names of the awardees who could not be present today. Since time is also short, I am not reading out them all. These are all published in our monthly bulletin.
Thank you, sir. It is now our pleasure to invite the Honorable Governor of West Bengal and Patron of the Asiatic Society, Sri Jagdeep Dhankarji, to address the distinguished gatherings.
My respectful regards to former Chief Justice, Bombay and Calcutta High Court, Justice Chitatosh Mukherjee. My reverential regards to Oma Siddhanta ji, and congratulations and greetings to all the awardees. When it came as an occasion of a former Vice Chancellor, I was happy and delighted because in the state of West Bengal, only the current Vice Chancellors avoid me. President of Asiatic Society, office bearers, all those associated with the society, and everyone present here. This indeed is a great occasion, and great occasion for the premise that on 15th January 1784, this society came into being. In terms of longevity, it is unrivaled. It is recognized, rightly so, as mother of all institutions, as patron of the society. It's a matter of great pride for me. Parliament of India thought it fit in 1984 to accord this institution the status of an institution of national importance. And that was taking note, and this emanates from statutory provision, that objects of Asiatic Society are such as to make the institution one of national importance. And then there was declaration by the Parliament. The society is primarily required to focus on research, literary, library, scientific, museological activities, collection of manuscripts, coins, and art objects, and publication of periodical books and other literature. But as was indicated, that it also focuses on what the original thinker had thought about it, man and nature. We are in city of joy and a land of knowledge. On one aspect, we have great thought of Kavi Guru Rabindranath Tagore, and what he reflected resonates in my ears day in and day out, where the head is held high and mind is without fear, in the reverse order. I put it deliberately the way I have done. On earlier two occasions, in all humility, I pleaded with everyone present here that the situation obtaining is a cause of serious concern. Our mind is not without fear. Our mind is full of fear. We are in grip of such a sense of fear that out of fear we are not able to speak about fear. And where head is held high, if I go by the events that have taken place in last 2.5 years, my head is in shame. And I do not believe in criticism. I believe in things to look up. I believe that there must be dialogue, deliberation, discussion that should diagnose the problem, and all must work in tandem, in coordination, in collaboration to seek a resolution. There is a limit to which we can rest on past laurels. If the past laurels are very significant and the present scenario is not in consonance thereof, the situation gets very critical. I am greatly enthused by the presence of Justice Chitatosh Mukherjee, as also Umaji and other distinguished awardees. I would therefore be failing my conscience if I do not share with you my thoughts. This great institution, recognized by Parliament, is it generating impact? I have done this homework empirically, and to the extent it is objectively possible, we need to wake up. We need to ensure that such an institution, which is unrivaled in Asia and in the front ranks of global institutions, must ever be on incremental trajectory. I am not being critical. People are involved. They are doing their work. But then, result is equally important. Have we been able to create a moment? Have we been able to be in missionary mode? Have we been able to generate passion so that this institution catalyzes a change, much needed change, so that this great land of knowledge and wisdom can retrieve its past glory? It can be at pinnacle. Ladies and gentlemen, at the moment, we need hard work to give some semblance of that kind of impression. Asiatic society has engaged my attention I have interacted with the office bearers. I have interacted with the employees. I have tried my best to find a meeting ground. I never expected such a major setback that I stand reflected before the first citizen after careful thought process is revisited. It is my duty as first servant of the state of West Bengal to ensure Asiatic society gets best of support from Rajbhavan, best of support from the ministry. I am yet to be flagged a single issue by Asiatic society. The only issue flagged is management and employees being at crossroads. In that scenario, while taking note of everything and not making any comment, I would urge, if we keep ourselves from accountability assessment, if we keep ourselves away from probe, that is the surest way to generate debilitation of an individual and an institution. No individual, howsoever high, no institution, howsoever reputed, can afford not to introspect. The winds of change have to blow, and I therefore beseech all of you connected with the society, please brainstorm, please scratch your heads, come out with a mechanism so that impact of the society is felt. I am sure wholesomely motivated thoughts that have emanated from me after long study, deep concern, and taking into account where this society can really go. I am sure it will be borne in mind. I am contemplating, as patron of the society, that there must be review of the work done by the society. Unless we review, it will be very difficult for us to negotiate path ahead, much less make our attainments complementary. The work done by the society needs to be evaluated. It can result in two situations: a great appreciation that will get into public domain. People will come to know about it. People working in the society will get enthused, encouraged, inspired. On the other hand, if there are certain things where we need to engage into correctional mode, we should be doing it. I will be interacting with the management of the society, for whom I have enormous respect, the president in particular and the general secretary. But I have chosen to reveal my mind before all of you because of the august presence, and I know everyone present in this hall is a nerve center to ensure that this sampling, which was on 1784, gets into a shape which it deserves. Globally, we have noticed, and I am aware, I do not wish to indicate how some of the greatest institutions stagnated. Even if we stand on a running water and don't make any progress, to stand at the same place, we will have to keep on moving our feet. If we don't, most of you know more than I do, the sand under our feet will take us where we do not wish to land. I am therefore leaving a thought with all of you that why and how this situation has developed. Why such an unrivaled institute is not impacting minds. Why its efficient, efficacious, impactful working is not visible in public domain. And I am sure, with the commitment of the people on my left, this is attainable. The awards that I have given today reflect a sense of the best available in society. Each one of them not only deserved it, eminently deserved it, and is an ambassador of the society. I would therefore conclude that I will have a brainstorming session. I will act as a foot soldier of Asiatic society. If there are issues of any nature whatsoever, we will find a resolution. And I am sure the management in a time-bound program will make available in Tupi as to what are the aspects on which review needs to be taken. We keep here a timeline of a fortnight. We will have people who know the subject. We will have people who are keenly involved. We will have people who are passionate with missionary zeal to take pride that this institution reaches out pinnacle. At the moment, the history of institution and the state of West Bengal since independence match losing ground. We cannot afford to lose any further ground. And revisitation in a comprehensive, rational manner by minds who are more knowledgeable than me will be extremely helpful. My greetings to all of you on this great day, and I'm sure next year when we meet, we will say, yes, the team has been enabled to perform the very best. Our full potential has been optimally exploited to give the Institute a current scenario respect, and its impact will be felt within and outside the country. Once again, my greetings to all of you. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, sir, for your valuable address on this auspicious occasion. May I now invite Dr. Sujit Kumar Das, Treasurer of the Asiatic Society, to deliver the formal vote of thanks.
Good afternoon, everybody. Honorable His Excellency, Governor of West Bengal, Sri Jagdeep Dhankar ji, respected Srimati Sudesh Dhankar, First Lady, Professor Swapon Kumar Pramanik, President, Asiatic Society, Kolkata, Dr. Satyabrat Chakraborty, General Secretary, Asiatic Society, Honorable Justice Sri Chittotosh Mukherjee, recipients of medals and plaques, respected council members, ordinary members, employees, guests, ladies and gentlemen. Good afternoon and greetings of Bengali New Year to you all. This is my proud privilege to record vote of thanks to you all present here today in this historic Vidyasagar Hall on the occasion of 238th Annual General Meeting and Award Giving Ceremony of the Asiatic Society, Kolkata. I express thanks and gratitude to our respected Patron-in-Chief, Sri Jagdeep Dhankarji, Honorable Governor of West Bengal, for his kind presence and inspiring speech in spite of his busy schedule. I express thanks and gratitude and congratulate all award and plaque winners present here to receive the award and plaque personally. I express thanks to the media persons, Kolkata Police, Kolkata Municipal Corporation for their kind cooperation. Thanks are due to the employees of the Asiatic Society for their endless effort to make 238th Annual General Meeting and Award Giving Ceremony of the Asiatic Society, Kolkata a grand success. Today is the 101st birth anniversary of great filmmaker Sri Satyajit Ray. Our tribute to Sri Ray has been reflected in this monthly bulletin. I can express my tribute in his words, Maharaja Tomare Salam. I conclude my speech with a few lines of Kavi Guru Rabindranath Tagore on the occasion of his 159th birth anniversary to be held on 25 Boishakh, 9th May 2022. মহাবিশ্বজীবনের তরঙ্গেতে নাচিতে নাচিতে নির্ভয়ে ছুটিতে হবে সত্যেরে করিয়া ধ্রুবতারা কে সে জানি না কে চিনি নাই তারে শুধু এইটুকু জানি তারি লাগি রাত্রি অন্ধকারে চলেছে মানব যাত্রী যুগ হতে যুগান্তর পানে ঝড় ঝঞ্ঝা বজ্রপাতে জ্বালায় ধরিয়া সাবধানে অন্তরের প্রদীপখানি ধন্যবাদ নমস্কার
Thank you, sir. Now the closing program, National Anthem.
जनगण मन अधिनायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता पंजाब सिंध गुजरात मराठा द्राविड़ उत्कल बंग विंध्य हिमाचल यमुना गंगा उच्छल जलधि तरंग तब शुभ नामे जागे तब शुभ आशीष मागे गाहे तव जय गाथा जनगण मंगल दायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता जय हे जय हे जय हे जय 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 हे
We request our honored guests and dignitaries kindly to remain in the hall till the Honorable Governor of West Bengal and Patron of the Asiatic Society, Sri Jagdeep Dhankarji, leaves the hall along with the First Lady.